Welcome. In today's video we're going to be explaining to you how to shape and cut a custom runner like this one right here.
So your first job is deciding what size you need your runner to be. As a general rule of thumb, we use 100mm spacing from the side or the stringer.
So we're going to be starting on our straight run of stairs, and what we're going to need to do is put some protection down, so some tape to start marking. So if you just set your tape measure to 100mm, and then we take our tape and put that in the middle, doesn't have to be exact. And we're going to come over this bottom stair all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to do that on both sides. Right, so before we go on with our marking, you're going to want to get yourself a couple things. So we like to have ourselves a 100mm block like this one. Any bit of wood you like, cut it to 100mm and keep hold of that. And another thing you're going to want is a combination square like this one. So our first job is to take that block that we told you to get, sit it against our stringer on the tread and mark along the side of it. So on this side you can see we've got ourselves a little obstacle, we've got the post. So we want to actually be measuring off the stringer, not the post. So if we take our tape measure and we mark out our 100mm, and now that we've got our mark from our stringer, we can take our combination square and extend that down to the nose. So now that we've got the width of our runner set for our straight run of stairs, we can now transfer those marks down onto the next step. So for this side, we can use our block, put it on that stringer again and just strike a line. And for this side, where we've got a post in the way, we can use our combination square and strike down off of the mark we made on top. So now that we've done that, before we start templating out for our winders, we're going to make a note of this measurement between the 2 points, because that is going to be the width of the runner on our straight stairs. So I've took note of my measurement. You should do the same and make sure you keep it safe, because we're going to need that a little further in the video. So now that we've got all of our markings and our width set, for the winders, which are the ones that turn, we're going to be using craft paper to make templates for our runner. So to get our measurements for how much to cut off of our roll of craft paper, on our winders we stick our tape on our pencil marks and square to the nose and measure down. So we've got 600mm. So just overcut it, so we'll take 700mm off. So if we just measure out 700mm, and we're then going to take some scissors and cut this off. So once our paper's cut and ready to go, we're going to set it square with our nose and make sure that we're definitely going to be covering the edges for our runner. I'll start by creasing the back, and then I'll take some tape and stick it into position temporarily. Now that it's stuck, I'm just going to take some of the excess off the back. You can either use a Stanley or your scissors. So now the next step is to put some tension on the front and then take that down. So now that it's in position, we take our block and then we're just going to scrub along this side here, using our block all the way to the end. We then transfer our marks down onto the face using our combination square. And now for this side, we're going to make a little cut along our paper to expose the mark that's on the back. And we'll just cut the waste off. So now we can transfer that onto our templating paper. Right, before we go any further, let's get the rest of our craft paper stuck down to our winders and our quarter landing. Right, so that's all of our templating paper fixed down, ready to be marked. So we're going to continue around this outside edge with our 100mm block, just marking off of our stringer. And we're going to do that all the way up to the noses, including our small quarter landing. And now we're going to take our combination square and take the line from the bottom up the front and over the nose. So what you might find, which is very common, is this line and the one coming up the front do not line up on your winders. So all we do, once we're up to the nose here and here, we just take our square and then we're just going to meet the two lines together. So if I mark that, and you'll see that that's how we keep our gaps. Right, so that's the stringer side, all marked out with our block, all the way down to the floor. Now we can move on to the post side. Right, so our next step is, remember that measurement I told you to take down at the very beginning of the video? We now want to be marking from this line across the width that you wrote. For us it was 625, so we're going to mark that on the opposite side. We're then going to take our combination square and make that line long enough to get past our post. That can now be sent down to the floor. We're then going to do that same measurement on the bottom of this step, and then if we place our combination square up against this riser, we can now pull a line back across, and you should end up with this little detail around your post. And now from this bottom one we can extend that line up onto our winder, and then from the nose back to our next winder, and then we're going to do the same again from this point up. And now that we're onto this winder, we're going to transfer the measurement from our newel to there, from here to here, and we'll just use a straight edge to make sure we're parallel along the post and put ourselves a line. So now you'll see that this gap and this gap are now the same. And then on the step above, we're going to come off that riser and do another square line. So now we've got two parallel lines around our newel. And our last measurement is the angle from the post to there. For us that's 70 mil. We're going to do the same up here. And then we're going to take our combination square and strike up the riser. And now we're just going to extend our lines until they intersect. So that one goes there. And this one goes there. And the reason we do all of this working out here is because visually we've got a uniform gap all the way down around our post. So before we remove these, now that they're all marked, there's a couple of markings we want to put on this paper for us to transfer to our carpet. So here we're going to be writing top, W for winder, and then 1. Now you can count from the top or you can count from the bottom. For us we like to count from the top. And then we want to mark our pile direction. So if we put an arrow for down and then write pile. And the last step we want to do is to mark where we want our binding. So if we just do arrows like this, because we want binding down all these edges, but we don't want binding across the top. Now this may seem like a bit of a stupid step, but when you take this off, it is very easy to get confused about what's happening with what. So now that we're all marked up, we're going to take it off and start cutting along our lines. So make sure you take your time with this, because obviously this is going to reflect directly onto your carpet. So don't go rushing your cuts, take your time. And also this little extra section that we've got at the top and the bottom, leave those on because they're going to help when it comes to fitting the carpet. So that's what we're left with. We're going to do exactly the same thing on each of these templates, and then we're going to put them to one side and move on to the last step. And that is to measure how much carpet we need for that straight run of stairs that we took the measurement for. How we do that, we take our tape measure, we take our measurement by folding it inside of the creases of each stair, hold it and go on to the next, hold it, go on to the next, all the way down and to the top of that first winder. Right, so we've done all our templating, we've took our measurements, and we're now at the piece of carpet we're going to be cutting. We've come to a good friend of ours, Russell's, and he does binding and whipping, and he's going to talk to you about a few different methods you can use to cut your carpets down.
So shaping a staircase is pretty easy for us fitters, but there's different tools that you can use. Obviously a straight knife, but have something underneath the carpet to protect the floor if you're confident enough to cut a straight line with a straight knife. If you're not, use some scissors. Takes you time to do it, but at the end of the day it will be very accurate. We already know our measurement, which is 62.5, and just get your shears and follow the design and just go slowly or as fast as you feel comfortable at. With this design we can easily spot it because we deal with it day in, day out, but if you're a novice or never done it before, what you can do, you can just mark it with a marker just so you know where you're going to hit the design. And then if you want to go buy yourself a tool, these are about £10–15 on any online flooring shop, and these ones are around about 40 to 50 pounds. These are the ones that we use as a professional. These are more of a DIY cutter, but it does the same job. Right, so when row finding a plain carpet, you can do it in different ways with different tools. I like to use a bradawl. A bradawl just opens up the pile, and most carpets have a line to it and it will stay to that line, stay true. You can actually buy the exact tools for it. These are again about £10 on most flooring sites. You've got this is the comb. You get this from the States. Again, this opens up the pile, and all you do is go back and forth and it follows the pile. So now we've done that, the purpose of that is to open up the pile so we've got a clean line to cut through. And with our cutters, you can just easily go through with it. With binding and whipping, you can actually mark on top of the carpet. It doesn't affect us because we're actually covering the mark that you're going to create. So all I'm doing is just following the design with a ruler and a pen, and I can cut to that with some shears, a straight knife, or even with my cutter, which will make it a lot easier visibly to see. And if you notice what I'm doing, I'm putting my hand behind the cutter, keeping the carpet flat and taut, and then as I'm pushing through, it makes it a lot easier to cut the carpet straight and true.
So now that Russ, or Russell, has shown you how to cut our straights and some of the different tools you can use, we're now going to look at the templates we made. So what we're going to be doing is sitting them on top of the carpet like so. And because we're using a pattern carpet, we've got an extra line on our template, and that is the nose of where our design ends. We line that line up with our design. We're then going to take our pen and mark around our template. And it's at this stage we want to take super duper care to line our pattern up with our template, because when it's cut and bind, this is when it will show. So we want to make sure we've got our design nice and square. If you've got a pile, you want to concentrate on the pile direction. That's why we put that arrow back when we was on the stairs. So that's our marks. And just remember, when you're looking at our treads or our winders, this section here is the part that goes up. So this is why we want it super straight, because if you go off, the carpet's not going to look right going up your risers. Right, so we're going to start cutting this out. We've got proper carpet shears, but you can get away with using normal scissors if you want to. So we're just going to follow the marks that we've put on our carpet. And one last step once we've got it cut is to transfer our binding marks that we put on our template. So we're going to turn it onto its back and put some arrows. We rushed you off a little bit there at the end because the weather come in and got us. But if we have missed anything, chuck us a comment below and we will tell you whatever it is you think we might have missed. This is it installed, and don't worry, we have got a full video on the actual installation of this. So click the link and give it a watch, and we'll see you on the next one.